I was very, very pleased that after a Herculean struggle, where we put together a great team, we were able to win a landmark law last night. The Workers' Compensation Reform Law, I think, will go down in Illinois history as one of the most important job-creating and job-preserving statutes that we've ever enacted. For years, this has confounded the people of our state, previous governors, previous legislators. We just weren't able to come together and come up with a reform law, but we did it last night in the best traditions of Illinois democracy. And after the House voted, I came back here to my office. We had a number of our business leaders here from the Manufacturers Association, from the retail merchants. I do want to thank some of the great companies that helped us, Navistar, Walmart, and many, many more were involved in this battle to make sure we had a fair law, fair to the workers and fair to the businesses of Illinois. And I want to salute President John Cullerton of the Senate and Speaker Mike Madigan of the House and Minority Leader Chris Radogno of the Senate. We all worked together as a team. And it was really inspiring to see there were those out there who said it couldn't be done, but we got it done. I began this process as governor a few months ago. I said we had to come up with a law this year that really made our state much better when it comes to workers' compensation premiums. The fact is, about $3 billion a year is spent on workers' compensation premiums by businesses that employ people, and that's a lot of money. And our law last night will save those businesses anywhere from $500 million to $700 million, and that's good for workers and jobs in Illinois. Because my number one priority is economic growth and jobs. That's what we have to have in Illinois to help the most people. We have to have good education in order to have good jobs. And I do want to salute all of those involved with the education reform movement. The day after I was elected, last November, November 3rd, we began working on this very important mission. And it is a mission. It is about children and education. Most important thing that adults can do for children, I think, is to make sure they have a good education. And there were those, I heard some of them, that wanted to push some of the stakeholders out of the process altogether. Well, I believe in teachers, and I wanted to make sure teachers were at the table every step of the way. And we were able to put a good program together where everyone involved in education, whether they be the parents or the teachers, whether they be folks who have been involved in education reform, definitely the taxpayers, everyone had a seat at the table. And we had to work hard, and sometimes it was long, but we got the job done. This isn't one person who got the job done. I don't care who gets the credit. I want to make sure we have a good education reform that has better outcomes for the students of Illinois. And we're not done yet. We've got to get more resources for our schools. We have a lot of work to do in that area. Everyone I've talked to about education reform, if they don't say we also need resources, it's incomplete. And I think it's very, very important that we work on this issue now and every day to make sure we have proper funding for our schools. A week or two ago, I read a story about our preschool education in Illinois. We have one of the better programs in the whole country. I'd like to have the best program. But we have to invest in preschool education, early childhood education, from birth to 5. Children learn a lot if they're given that fighting opportunity to learn. We have to invest in them. We can't leave them behind. You don't get to be a 3-year-old 2 years in a row. And I've told the leaders of the legislature that we have work to do when it comes to early childhood education, investing in that, and also in our scholarships for our students. A lot of needy students in Illinois who have the ability to do college work. We've got to properly fund the scholarship program that our state has had for over a half a century. I was very glad the General Assembly enacted a private program called the DREAM Act, which is, I think, a very good way to say that everybody's in, nobody's left out when it comes to education in Illinois, because jobs follow brain power. Now, we've had I think, a great resurgence in Illinois. We have a long way to go, but for 15 straight months, we've been able to lower our unemployment month by month. We've got to keep that going. We've got to have more jobs and better jobs in Illinois. And that's what governors do. They work with businesses, they work with workers, they work with teachers, they work with students in order to have a growing economy in Illinois. And I believe in that, and I think it's very important we do that. We also are happy to get workers to work. We have to make sure we have a good transit system in Illinois, especially in this era of very high prices for gasoline. And we were able in this session to get some reforms in the public transit system. We have more to do. But we were able to get Wi-Fi and commuter trains, AEDs, a study to make sure that we have safety and health on those trains. And also, we want to make sure that we have a universal fare card so people aren't disconnected when they use public transit in order to get to work or where they have to go. Overall, I think the members of the General Assembly got a number of things done, important things, but they didn't get everything done. And so part of my job as governor is to make sure they keep on the job of keeping our economy moving forward in Illinois. And we plan to work with the members of the legislature and their leadership today, tomorrow, and every day this summer to make sure that we aren't leaving anyone behind. That's my job as governor. I think when we have a governor, we have to have someone who fights for everyday people, and that's what I do.